Women make up 41.2% of the global workforce. When we look at the entry-level pipeline in corporate environments, that number climbs to nearly half, sitting right at 48%. This diagram shows what happens to those numbers as careers progress. The pipeline shrinks drastically at the top. Fortune 500 female CEOs have plateaued at 11. They see the exhausted misery of the executives above them and actively decide to opt out of traditional promotions. Yet these younger cohorts remain highly ambitious. They are making a rational calculation to reject a corporate ladder that is structurally defective and costs too much to climb. To understand why the ladder fails, we have to isolate the exact mathematical point of breakdown. Data scientists call this the broken rung. It happens at the very first step up the ladder, the initial promotion to manager. This chart illustrates the first major gap. For every 100 men promoted to management, 81 women receive that same promotion. The math worsens when factoring in race. For Black women, the rate plummets to 54 for every 100 men. The psychological driver behind this bottleneck is the prove-it-again bias. In promotion rooms, men are routinely evaluated and advanced based on their future potential. Women must repeatedly prove their competence based strictly on past performance, making them 14% less likely to advance, despite identical performance ratings. This early defect creates a permanent talent gap. No amount of late-stage executive coaching can fix a system that loses its female leadership cohort at the very first gate. Those who do secure promotions enter an invisible architecture of compounding daily biases. The first layer is the authority gap. Research shows that women in leadership roles are interrupted 3 times more often than their male peers. Then comes the motherhood penalty. Mothers face a 15% drop in earnings for every child they have. Fathers experience the exact opposite, receiving a 23% wage bonus. Add to that the double shift. Working mothers with young children spend over 5 hours a day on unpaid caregiving and domestic labor, before and after their formal work hours. The pressure of managing these visible and invisible loads creates a culture of stoicism. Women report feeling they cannot afford to show any perceived weakness in a system already biased against their competence. This drives presenteeism, the habit of working while unwell to avoid the appearance of a lack of commitment. This line graph maps the ultimate symptom of this defective architecture. Tracking exhaustion levels over a 4-year period reveals a stable 10-point gap in burnout between female leaders and their male counterparts. Make no mistake, female leaders possess immense resilience. They are burning out because the corporate environment forces them to run a daily obstacle course that their male peers never see. Women are using their departures to build a new operational framework. They are abandoning transactional management and designing systems rooted in transformational leadership. Researcher Brené Brown interviewed 150 senior executives and discovered that shedding corporate armor is mandatory for innovation. Perfectionism and busyness shut down creativity. Genuine courage requires leaders to operate with vulnerability. Harvard professor Amy Edmondson operationalized this with her concept of psychological safety. Her data proves that teams perform at their absolute peak only when they feel completely safe to surface errors without fear of punishment. These human-centric frameworks translate directly to financial returns. According to McKinsey data across 23 countries, companies in the top quartile for executive gender diversity are 39% more likely to financially outperform their peers. Integrating these human-centric frameworks into the executive suite is a measurable strategy for financial outperformance. Media executive Arianna Huffington redefined success after her own collapse from exhaustion in 2007. Her third metric approach measures a career by its internal quality as much as its external rank. This redefined ambition rests on 4 specific pillars: well-being, wisdom, wonder, and giving. It requires establishing firm boundaries so that professional output never destroys personal health. Workers are achieving this through job crafting. This psychological practice allows employees to actively reshape their daily tasks and workplace relationships to find deeper meaning, regardless of their official job title. The youngest generation in the workforce demands this holistic balance as a baseline condition of employment. They refuse to accept burnout as the entry fee for a corner office. True success in the modern era means dismantling defective rungs entirely. We must build a sustainable ecosystem where leadership does not cost you your health.